Pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So I think that is our official call to order. Megan, if you will give us a roll call.
Sarah Menard.
Here.
Dina Kreitler. Jan Braun. Donna Roush. Here. Kelly Follett. Candy Sue Mahurin. Here. Laura Oliver. Here. Jack Ketting.
Here.
Nicole French. Here. And Susan Johnson. Here. You have a quorum.
And we do have a quorum. Okay, thank you for that. You should have in front of you an agenda that was prepared by Megan. If we can have an approval of that.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we have minutes of the previous meeting, and I think probably everybody got them electronically, but if you want to take just a minute and refresh yourselves. You know, at that meeting, we, Mr. Musi was here to talk about charging stations for electronic cars. Carla Fisher was here and talked about the plan she has for a fun farm, and Toby gave us his report and brought us up to date on the national park. So if you want to just take a minute and look at these.
Megan, you called for Jan earlier. He's still on?
He was never, he's still on the roster. He was never replaced.
Okay.
But since the two groups are combining, I have a feeling we won't replace that
I just
spot.
wanted to mention he was not reflected in the minutes, so I don't know if he was included on the roll call the last time.
Oh, probably not.
Motion for approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the minutes stand approved as, well, I don't guess that's.
I don't know. I think it would just, we'd be better off taking them out of the roll call.
Okay,
So I will note that.
all right, noted. Lawrence, do you have anything for us?
No, I'm for the next meeting.
You're a citizen. You're the only citizen we see that needs to be heard. Okay. I'm like, this ought to be interesting. And one of the purposes of tonight's meeting is to approve bylaw changes that will, in effect, combine the TAC and the TTC, or at least have us meet at the same time. Do you have anything for us on that regard, Happy?
So we went through them. We've done through a number of meetings now talking about them. We went through them the last time, finalized them, and of course I sent them to Mark because I thought, well, this had been reviewed by an attorney prior to this, so there shouldn't be any issues. Yeah, there's a couple of issues.
Okay.
So those have been highlighted for you to look at. If you have any issues with them, let me know. Otherwise, this board can approve them. It does not have to go to the Board of Aldermen. It's this board that has to change their bylaws. You do that, and then TTC changes their bylaws, same thing. We then combine the groups into one.
So by highlighted, do you mean these should be deletions?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah. So what has changed is it's going to be in red. So we've eliminated what's in red in section 2.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so those are coming out where we didn't have that change at the last meeting. So these have all been reviewed by our attorney. That's just Mark's review of them. Not really a lot, but some of it he said does not apply.
Make a motion to approve as amended.
So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any additional discussion? All those in favor of approving the St. Genevieve Tourism Advisory Council bylaws as amended. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. We're done.
There you go.
Okay. And do we have any new business we want to discuss? I want to just, do you have any new business?
I didn't know if you wanted me to kind of go through some of Toby's stuff, or if you want to do your thing. I
Well,
can
mine
go
is
to the
very
next
brief.
meeting.
This is just a reminder that June 12th and 13th is the French Festival in town. But prior to this, I think Candy has an event.
I have the Pioneer Days down at the shopping cabin, so that will be this weekend. I'm scared to death. I have no idea how it's going to go, but I do have about 25 to 30 participants who will
Wow.
be doing demonstrations,
Awesome.
vendors, kids' activities, hands-on. It will be rain or shine, no matter what, we're doing it. So it should be a lot of fun. I've been getting a lot of phone calls. It's in the Rural Missouri paper. It's all on downtown St. John's website. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from Jefferson County and St. Louis County about what's exactly
Good.
going on. So
Good.
hopefully we will
And
meet.
so that's this weekend.
That's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully
Good.
we'll meet up to everyone's expectations.
What time does it start?
It starts at 10 and goes till 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and there will be campers on my property Friday night, Saturday night, but Dale and I, we're not renting the cabin out. We're going to be staying there, so we'll make sure that the jug doesn't get passed around too much and it gets a little wild, because we are in the residential area and I don't want the neighbors on either side of me to get angry with me. So we'll be there to kind of rain on their parade, I guess.
All right. Okay, so that's this weekend.
That's
June
this
12th
weekend.
and June 12th actually is the
French Festival.
French Festival. There's most of the activities are on Saturday of the French Festival. And I did do a very little bit of research about charging stations for electric cars. Number one, they're kind of expensive, but Tesla will, it's my understanding they will assist with the cost of the installation. And then of course, the problem is, where is it going to go? If it's on private property, then it becomes a liability issue, not for anybody else, but for maybe the property owner, or maybe not. And I did email Citizens Electric, and I'm sure they will respond at some point, about cars that are not Teslas, because you had said there are.
There's one in the Schnucks Park. So right after we had this meeting, it was weird. I went down to Cape and I went to Schnucks, and they're right there in the parking lot were Citizens Electric car chargers. So I thought that was kind of odd, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there are other options for charging stations other than Tesla. I guess they're for any electrical car. I'm not really sure how they work, because you've got to use a credit card for theirs or what, but I thought that was interesting. And, you know, and then Dr. Pat that has the Main Street Inn, he's driving a Tesla too. So there's a few of them in town.
Right.
People that
Right.
actually live here. So I think it would be good if we could get, like, even out at the parking lot where the Country Mart is, and that maybe somehow, or something where it's a central part of town.
Yeah, I can't see it being on city property. I can't see that being a duty of the city to provide that.
Right.
And, you know, if individual property owners thought it was a good idea and they wanted to do it, or if what, Lawrence, you have,
Well, what about the Welcome Center?
or the Welcome
Or the
Center?
county
Right.
parking.
Yeah, that I thought about those two areas too, because then that would get them into downtown
Yeah.
to charge their car.
Right. And if you have a Tesla, I'm sure if you charge your car, they know who you are and they just suck money out of your
Well,
account.
like the little guy that, well, he got it for free out of me this time, not the next time. But the guy that stayed at my cabin and just plugged into my front porch. I mean, you can plug them in, so I'm assuming they would be able to use a Citizens Electric one, and since we are in Citizens Electric's district. Might be a good
It
way.
depends on what voltage you have. If it's just a regular 120 outlet like what he was plugged into, it takes a long time to charge.
Yes, it does.
So, but they're looking at 220, so it's a
Right.
higher power. That'll
super-
be-
Yeah, it'll do it in
Supercharging
Right,
about
that's
40
what-
minutes. It'll charge your
Right.
car completely in about 40 minutes.
Right.
So Tesla has not returned an email to us. There used to, well, they're not, well, I should say, yeah, there used to be money from the Volkswagen settlement, but they were looking for charging stations along the interstate. They're not looking at anything off the interstate. So what you saw in Cape, they're looking for in Perryville, they're looking for, and there's 2 in Festus. They were looking in St. Louis, Arnold, you know, so that's where that was guided. So there wasn't any money for cities that were off that route. Because they were trying to get them where they could go from,
Right, get
Point
off
to
and exit
point.
easy and get back on the exit easy.
yeah.
I see. So I'm curious as to what citizens will say when they email you back.
I'm sure they'll tell us some, yeah.
Yeah, because their facility's close to the highway. It would be more reasonable to put it there with easy access off of 55 than it would be to come in town. We want it in town for visitors. That's what we're
Right.
shooting for.
But Schnucks is not right off of 55 in Cape.
Right, okay.
It's on the old highway on Old 61, so,
That's down Williams. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Kings Highway, whatever, Williams and Kings Highway. So, yeah, it's not easy access off the highway. And they had 2 of them there in the parking lot.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
it was
Well,
just like 3 days after our meeting. I'm like, well, there it is.
yeah. Good. More discussion to follow, I guess, yeah. You want to tell us some, if you have any info from Toby?
Just
A little
what,
bit.
I've got a little bit. We are looking at one grant option. This year, the state has allocated, because of money coming from the federal government, part of the previous CARES Act, they have extra money for tourism, and they've allotted $70,000 for St. Genevieve. So we're looking at trying to do that. It's in their budget year, which runs from July to June. Our budget year starts October 1, so we're going to have to re-budget because we have to be able to account for the money that we spend, but it's matching. So our total would end up being a little over $93,000 for marketing. So we're looking at social media and television and radio, any number of things that we've been doing in the past year that seem to have been pretty effective. I think, did Toby send that breakdown to everybody on kind of what the numbers were? Looking at the same percentages for this next year. So we're figuring, based on those percentages, social media is about 24,000, 5,000 to 8,000 for television, radio, we're not sure what the number is yet. Print can be about $6,000 to $8,000. If we just go for different media guides, the Webster Kirkwood Times, that's one we may also do. There's some other travel guides in Illinois, better papers. We got a number of different options that Toby's been following up on. So look for that to occur. Our thought process is not to spend it all this year, but to work it through next year as well. Because it is that full budget year of 70,000. We don't want to just spend it all in 2021. We want to have some of it for 2022 as well. So we are going to apply for that. He's been working on the application, keeping me in touch. He will probably be back for a couple of days, and then he's supposed to be at his new job in June. So, I think you guys went over the different events that were coming up. That's kind of what he's highlighted.
Right.
He was looking at a couple other programs, trying to get some things this summer with music downtown. We haven't had a chance to discuss it further, and I need to see exactly what he's talking about before I commit to anything. That's kind of, and the movie in the park, they were supposed to have Jurassic Park in the park last weekend. It's been pushed off to the 29th now, so it's Memorial Day weekend. We're going to try to do it that evening. So tell the rain to stay away.
That would be nice, yes.
So is his position posted?
His position is out, and we have received 5 applications at this point. Sarah has kindly offered to represent the TAC, unless somebody else wants to.
Anybody else wants in on the committee?
And I was looking for somebody from TTC if they want to also participate in the interview committee. So I'll talk to that group here in a minute.
Okay, good.
Just
Abby,
putting it out there.
is there any need for the Big BAM for volunteers? Or are they pretty much self-sufficient?
They're pretty much cover their own thing, but
Okay.
again, we haven't had a chance to really cover all of these questions that I'll have for Toby.
Okay.
I think what he has going on mostly is just coordinating where they're supposed to be and just making sure that the bands and tents and that are set up for that Friday.
Okay, thanks.
Good question. Okay, anybody have anything else? If there is no business, we can stand adjourned. Wow. Thanks very much.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, guys, I'll kick it off.
Mike Fowler, Lawrence Myers.
Here.
Nicole French,
Yep.
Jack Kenny,
Here.
Dee Patel, Sue Johnson. Here. You have a quorum.
All right, and we have the agenda.
Move for approval.
Anyone want a second? Nicole?
Yep, looks good to me.
Okay, approved.
Aye.
Figure, yeah.
All those support? All those opposed? Okay, and you have the minutes in front of you. Are there any changes?
Looks good to me. Move for approval.
Motion from Jack. May I have a second?
Second.
So, if you say aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Financial report.
You've got the numbers in front of you. Also broke down into our G-Work system. At this point, we have year-to-date collected about $14,515. Our expenditures in marketing are $33,5182. Our budget for this year is $18,000, so we're on track to make the 18 as our budget amount for fiscal year 2021. So we still have about 13,000 left, 13,648.18 left in our account. And then in the enclosed package, you got the amounts that, in totals that are in our account in front of you. Do you have any questions?
Is the Insane Gym back open again?
It will be. I don't know if it is yet. I'll have to ask David about that. I've not heard if we've done the occupancy on it.
I heard a rumor that they were open last weekend.
That's why I heard that also.
I'm sorry, I have not heard. I don't know.
Any comments on the financial report? Questions?
Sorry.
You want to make a motion to approve it?
Your turn.
I'll make a motion to approve these numbers that I don't have the power to change.
Thank you, Nicole. You would like to second it?
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
You can always say no.
Okay, old business.
So you have in front of you the same thing I told TAC. Mark had a few more changes than I anticipated.
Great.
I mean, again, looking at it, I didn't anticipate that we would have any issues from the attorney from the previous draft, but there were a few things that he had changed. So it should be highlighted in red what those changes are, such as item H, the removal. He felt that what was in there was not allowed by state statute, so we had to remove that. The rest of it was some language changes that he had. That was the, and then the Article 9 on the last page. Again, he felt that that was not appropriate or allowable. So we're pulling that out of it.
You're just doing away with that one?
Yeah, just eliminating it totally. Yeah, so if you see it struck out, that means it's being taken out.
And the trustee knows what he's doing.
He is the lawyer, so one would assume.
He went to school for this, I guess.
Does anyone have any comments on it? Jack?
I trust you.
Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Mark's amendments to the bylaws.
And I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Because he's a lawyer and I'm not.
Those opposed? I guess that's passed.
Yes, yeah, so it'll be a joint group next time. The hope is that we don't have to meet for a little while. So unless you guys are really interested in another meeting next month, we can.
I'm not.
We're gonna, yeah, kind of slow this down some, and we're gonna be in the middle of trying to hire somebody anyway.
Right.
So by the next meeting that we would have, then I'd probably have somebody hired to introduce them.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So when there are financial questions that our group would want to meet for, we call everybody together for that, or how?
If just TTC wants to meet, that would be allowable, because it would just be that question in particular. What we're trying to do is save time of, dispersing information. And I don't know if TAC would have an issue with something like that, or the past TAC group. We might pull everybody together again just to get that information out, because it may be something that's of interest based on whatever marketing we're doing.
New business?
I printed off the visitor guide for you to look at.
Yeah, so this is what we talked about the last meeting, getting low bids. They didn't come in until it was about time for the group to meet, so we don't have anything that really allows email approvals, so just to get together, approve the bottom line if you want to go with the bids as proposed for 1,000 copies of the visitor guide. The low bid was American Solutions for Business at $2,084.79. That's for the 44 pages. They would not do the 40 page. If you want to go with the 40 page, then your low bid is CTM Media. Toby's recommendation is to go with the 44 pages.
And is that the place that's off of 61?
Yeah.
Over by the gas stations?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Why wouldn't they do the 40? That seems a little odd.
I don't know if it's because of the breakdown with the paper
Just the
or
format.
because of that, yeah, adding the other pages brought their number down.
Yeah.
They couldn't come in with a good number, or I'm not really exactly sure of the reason.
Is the shipping necessary if they're local?
It has to be shipped
Yeah,
in.
they don't do
'cause
it
they're gonna-
in-house.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Ship to them and then
Yeah.
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 distribute, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's got the heavier cover on the front.
So are we looking for an approval on this? Someone want to make a motion to approve this? Jack,
I will.
second.
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
So I do have a question for the group. If anybody wants to be part of our interview committee for the next tourism director.
What's that consist of?
We're going to have anywhere from 3 to 5 people to interview. We've received 5 applications. I'm going to review them and determine who needs to, or who I think is most qualified from that group to meet with the committee. So I would like to schedule of an evening, all of the candidates to talk to the different, to talk to the committee. And then we either narrow it down or want to make an offer to somebody. Instead of, last time it was myself and Sandra Cabot that interviewed Toby because we were in the middle of, didn't have somebody. I had
Right.
just come in.
Right.
It was kind of wonky the way we did it, but that was the most effective at the time. And they had been through the interview process with, I think, 4 or 5 different candidates. So my thought is either of a day, of an evening, whatever works best with somebody's schedule. Probably take, with 3 candidates, probably 2.5 hours. It'll be pretty intense.
Right.
But it's, again, hiring for Toby's position, get somebody in here that you think that your group would be as pleased with. Same with, the TAC group. They've been a part of this for so long that I thought that, Sarah offered some good background there that would help make a good decision.
So how many people are on this review board?
There'll be 4 of us. There may be 5. Gary Smith from the Board of Aldermen, Sarah, somebody from this board, myself. There may be 1 other person that I pull in from the community to be part of it, if they agree to it.
Are we like required to ask questions if we sit on it?
Don't have to.
I don't like to ask people questions. I just like to
No, but,
give opinions on
yeah,
things.
it's a very important role.
Right.
We would, so we had questions last time
I mean,
that,
Toby kind of set the bar a little high, so.
Yeah,
yeah, don't,
we'd like to find somebody just as good.
Right.
okay, well, we need to increase that pay a little bit. So it would be, we probably have a list of questions, so you don't have to actually come up with them.
Okay.
We've got them put together.
Sure.
Because you really want to interview everybody the same way.
Right.
Get the same, see what the responses
Right.
are.
Do we have to, does it have to be one of the people that have submitted, or can you say none of these are acceptable, or, and ask for more applications or
Yeah.
more time?
If the group would say, no, this isn't a good group, then we go back out. The way we've set it up now is that the position is open until filled. So we are not putting a date on the end of this
Good.
process. So we're just trying to,
So what happens then, because like, we answer essentially to like the tourism director, and we currently don't have a tourism director, so like, what are we doing until we have one of those? We're just here, hanging out?
well,
Well,
so,
we didn't have one before Toby. There was an interim, wasn't there a gap?
yeah.
I don't know that I was here for that.
Okay. So we still operated, And,
City still has to do what it does.
Right.
We're still marketing, we're still doing
Right.
things, setting programs up or whatever. So,
But who's doing that? You do it?
Yeah.
You do it, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
yeah, so any complaints, tourism complaints come to me.
You're like, yay. Okay, well,
And if nobody wants to volunteer, it's not I'm not trying to push, I'm just throwing it out there if you want to. If not, I've
it'd
got
be
it.
nice if somebody on the board was.
yeah, I don't care to do it.
You will do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll talk about it, and I'll kind of let you get in touch with us so you can kind of know what we're looking at before we
That's
do
fine.
the interview.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Not unless you've got any questions about what we're doing.
Do they have any idea when these will be printed? Did they give you a timeline?
So, no, I don't have a timetable, but I would say
Or the
in
end
a
of the
couple of
year?
weeks. No, we probably would get them in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that a factor in any of these? I mean,
No, we just looked at bottom line price.
Hmm.
I don't think, from Toby,
next time.
yeah, well, yeah, 6 weeks or,
What's your
6 months
turnaround
later.
time?
Yeah.
Knowing Toby and his printing background, that had to be a question.
I'm sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So, I was not privy to that conversation, no, I didn't ask him that.
All right. Anything else? I think we're adjourned.
Thank you all for meeting, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So much faster than last time. Last month's meeting took
Yep.
forever. We were here till like 7.